Hey everyone, Miacidae here. Welcome back to Darkest Dungeon. So, today on the No Hope Estate, we're going to be going back into the courtyard because we're trying to level it up, while also trying to level up some of our crew here. So, the goal is to get the Cursed Incense for the Occultist. It's plus debuff chance, and on ranged hit, debuff the target to have plus damage received. Honestly, it's a reason to use the Occultist at this point because I haven't been using them very much. While we're at it, we're going to be leveling up a bleed team, kind of replacing Dismas because Dismas has died recently, and that was kind of a huge hit to us. Dismas, or the Highwayman, can do a lot of damage while having a lot of utility. So he's going to be part of that, but also just a overall bleeding team to hopefully get them up and running into veterans, because I would like at least one of each hero on the roster to be able to go into veterans. That's the goal, that's the hope. We'll see if we actually get there. So like I said, we're gonna have a new Highwayman that I doubt I can pronounce this name of, but we're gonna try. Maurard? But he's gonna be usually using either Open Vein or Duelist Advance depending upon the situation. Even though he is in rank 1, he will be able to use Duelist Advance. Later on, maybe he'll be using Point Blank Shot. And because we're in the courtyard and because we're using Open Vein, we have bleeding trinkets on him, so he has the Bleed Amulet and the Condemns Hood to up the bleed amount, so he has roughly 67% bleed amount up. So Open Vein will do probably 3 for 3 rounds, but it might be up to 4. We then have Skullland, the Forlorn. I'm mainly going to be using Bloody Cross with him, but depending upon what we need, we also have Whiplash, Hunter's Strike, and Entangle. Bloody Cross is a huge AoE that does bleed. The reason for this is we have the Bloody Tears on him again. This ups the bleed amount on range attacks, but lowers the bleed duration, and lowers the bleed amount on all melee skills, meaning Whiplash won't bleed for as much. However, this time around we have the Request for Aid on him. This ups his speed, ups his debuff chance, and most importantly, on crit will up the party's damage versus bleeding by 20%. So if he crits with Bloody Cross, because this hits 3 targets, he has a higher chance to crit with it. Everyone gets a damage buff versus the things he just hit, because he will most likely be bleeding all of them. And then just finish things off, we can either go into Hunter Strike or Whiplash, because those are more damage on single targets. Next up, we have Gen Greymane. We're going to be using in Transformation mode again, just because that does damage versus bleeding. So since he's in rank 3, we open up with Dark Flight. This throws him into rank 1 because it moves him forward by 2. Therefore, the Highwayman can use Duelist Advance on turn 1 or 2, depending upon which turn he goes in. And then after that, we use Go for the Throat or Razor Swipe, depending upon which spot we're in. Either doing bleed or damage versus bleeding. We'll see which one we want to use depending upon the situation. For trinkets, we have the Ancestor's Letter Opener for plus accuracy on melee skills, because all the skills we will be using are melee. And on attack hit, bleed 1 for 4 rounds. Then the Bloody Feather, plus 25% more damage versus anything that's bleeding, stacking with Go for the Throats plus 20% damage versus bleeding, and the buff we might be getting from Request for Aid, so Gen's going to be doing a lot of damage versus anything that is bleeding. And if we have a corpse, plus 15% damage if we have a corpse. And finally, Celine, our Duchess here. Our Duchesses don't have a great survival rate, but we'll see what we can do. So we're going to be using Crimson Downpour once again. This ups the bleed amount received, making the Bloodied Cross and Open Vein do that much more damage. Also Razor Swipe if we're using it. It also bleeds in of itself, making that bleed do more damage. And then we can do Thirst for Power, bleeding, and upping her damage herself. And just in case I want to hit something for a little bit more damage, we have Noble Obligation. For her trinkets, we have Nobusuma's Glare, upping her accuracy, upping it even more when she's in beast mode, which she will be in, upping her crit rate, and crit rate even more when she's in beast mode. However, this will lower her max HP. And then the Ancestors map just for scouting and trap disarm, mainly using it for the scouting. So that being said, let's go. Let's get the Cursed Incense. Let's level everyone up in the region. Have some fun while we're at it. Taking all the food just because I can. This food will stack a little bit more once we're actually in the region. And some torches and we'll be off. Now, if I bring the holy water to get stress down, she loses even more HP in damage. I guess not damage, but even more HP. So I'm not going to do that, but we'll be fine. But since I have the granary, because of Cerebral Cloud's version of it, 1, we're getting more food, but 2, the food stacks to 16, so this shouldn't be too big of a problem. So, yeah, as you can see, we have 2 food there now. So let's explore 90% of rooms. Let's go down first. And instantly get a fight. So, that's gonna be... Change form. Crimson Downpour for the bleed. And the debuff.
The will to fight falters.
Bloody Cross, bleeding all of them. Maggot goes down. So doing some damage to Supplicant. Supplicant goes down. And then Dark Flight hitting the Maggot, and that's our fight.
Impunity. Slowly, gently. This is how.
Not sure why we got so many drops there. Got the Beard Pouch for the Martial Saint. So, speed -2. Peerless Beard no longer buffs or de-stresses self. However, Peerless Beard will now buff self for plus 20% damage and 5% crit for 1 whole combat. I like that. Map inside. Love the scout. Back up we go. Gonna have to dig through this, leaving the fountain, so I don't have the holy water for it. Gonna go left to these curios, which is a fountain, so leaving that. Gen is actually surprisingly good with traps, and then we miss it as I say that, so I guess we're doing the fight. Which we surprised them somehow, I'm not sure how. Bloody Cross hitting them. Only got 1 with the bleed. I'm not going to bother transforming Celine there. Duelist advance onto the Sycophant. By Razor Swipe, I can probably take both out between the bleed.
Their formation is broken. Maintain the offensive.
There we go. Take it all. Especially that blood, I'm gonna need it eventually.
On to the task's end.
Can give the blood to the urchin back there, after the fight at least. Gonna Crimson Downpour them once we transform, that way I can get a little more damage on everyone we want. I'm not gonna hit the one I really want, but that's fine. Go for the throat, we're gonna hit the Coquette, I suppose.
Decimated.
She's very much down. By point blank, we might get the Gentleman. And then Bloodied Cross. Gentleman will bleed out. Pretty much just the Humming Sycophant here left. With 7 health unless it heals up. Transforming back, and then we're gonna do Thirst for Power. Duelist advance on it.
As the fiend falls, a faint
and bye-bye Supplicant.
Press this advantage. Give them no quarter.
Cult Party Order. Give some blood to the urchin, see what he gives us. We can get rid of some of this food here and take both. Sturdy boots for the musketeer aren't the best in the world. Realistically, all it gives us is the move resistance, but it's better than having nothing. I'll come back for the urchin and the blood flowers. Just going down here for the scout. Actually, we want Gen in front.
Glittering gold.
I definitely want the crest. I don't really care about the horror amulet, so we'll leave that. Giving the wizened shrew some blood. I want the concentrated flame. This is amazing. So plus 50% damage reflection and plus 20% damage received. This has uses. Let's get rid of the beaded necklace because technically I can't use this and it's worthless. Box of mandarins for the practitioner isn't great. I'm just trying to think. Would I use this for the plus 15% health? Because then he can't get healed by food checks, which are actually useful for me. Nah, we'll leave it. I'm thinking concentrated flame here. For like... This is for specific boss fights. Where I know it's either like one-room fights... or it's going to be a short dungeon to the boss. And then they do a lot of AoEs. So this is going to be for like the... not the Shambler, but DD1 boss, or the Raging Raiju. I'm not sure I can reflect anything onto the Omibozu, but that would be a case use as well if the Omibozu is still glitched out. But bosses like that are going to do a lot of damage, they're going to do a lot of AoE damage, and then this gets all reflected back at them. And that's just going to take them out faster. And that way I can get my really good damage curios, or trinkets rather, onto the people that it really matters on. While having those trinkets on people with high health. I only have one more shovel. I better save it, because there's a lot to go through yet. I don't know if there's going to be another blockage. These Scarlet Cherubs just freak me out, man. I think they're from Home for Lost Monsters, but I'm not sure. I'm gonna, as always, I'll have done the research for them, and they will be in the description below. I'm pretty sure I've run into them before, and I've just forgotten, but man, they bug me out. 1 and 4. I mean, either way, I think I take one out, so let's do Duelist Advance. Make sure one goes down. Because it goes down to the bleeding now. Bloodied Cross, get damage versus bleeding.
As the enemy crumbles.
Unfortunately, she went last. So let's just do Thirst for Power hitting the Manservant. Now he'll go down to bleed, just leaving that sycophant here. I can open Vein on. Bleeding for 3. Crit heal. We'll heal that. And down the Manservant goes. Little black blast there. I do want the portraits and the busts. This glove isn't really going to help too much. I think what I can do is take the busts over the sturdy boots there, because realistically those aren't going to do too much for me. I can leave the portraits. I know I need them, but let's keep some supplies for now, and then keep going on. Then we'll rest in this room, Ooh, I like the chest. That might have a Crimson Court trinket in it. And then I can do a big hit with Crimson Downpour here. This should bleed and get the debuff on all of them. Let's Duelist Advance hitting the tick. Tick needs to go down. Definitely want the Bloody Cross. Tick is down, so it can't revive anyone. This Cocotte goes down, this Cocotte goes down, so realistically, I just want to hit the Sycophant.
Eradicated.
And they bleed out. And Thirst for Power. Alright, let's see what we can take here. I'm going to use the Firewood because I think I can get a little bit of scouting off of someone here. Damage versus Bloodsuckers, nonetheless. Can do a little bit of de-stressing. So I might not be able to get scouting, but at least I can get some buffs here.
A spark without kindling.
Feast for the stress. We'll leave the Onyx. We're gonna Bandit Sense for the Prevent Nighttime Ambush. Oh. Well then. Oh no, Family Knowledge is 4. I was thinking it was Horrible Night. Yeah, so Family Knowledge, damage versus Bloodsuckers, everyone gets that. Then, Gallows Humor. Oh, and the one person I wanted to de-stress got stress. That's how it goes. And in here, Tattered Flag of Shu Han. For the Martial Saint, Crimson Court Trinket. On attack miss, bleed self. On attack hit, other heroes, heal for 2. On being hit, dodge +5. So if I take the heal off of this, realistically what I get is on being hit, dodge +5. For on missing, bleed 3 for 2. Not a very good trinket. However, if I have this set, damage plus 15% of health above 75 and crit plus 15 of HP above 75. It is a decent trinket. We swore an oath in the Peach Garden on that faithful day, and yet I failed you both. I'm sorry, my brothers. I will take it. Suppose get rid of the anti-venom, even though I know I'll be using it later. Go down to the curio right down here, which we can use the bandages on and get something. More crests, more much needed crests. I need it for everything. Going up, de-stressing on Skulland here, because he has a 100% chance. Something would be very wrong if he didn't get that. Moving on along. We didn't scout that one. That or I'm blind. One of the two. I mean, both of the two probably, but nonetheless. Curio up here. Can burn this one.
If only treasure.
I think we can actually just take all of that. More blood, more money, more crests. I need all of it. Secret door, although I don't have a key, so I'll check it out. If it's what I think it is, yeah, I'm gonna look around and see if I can get a key. So I'm probably gonna get some trapezohedrons out of it, if I can, or better yet, a head. I love how there's just flagellants tied up there. Do you think they like that? Okay, there's one battle left. So I know that the bandages work here. Let's try some other stuff. Does the blood work here? That summons a Crocodillian. Okay, that's really cool to know. I wish I wouldn't have done that, but that's really cool to know. Oh, shit. Okay, we're gonna Duelist Advance just to get the I can take out the... I can take out the foliage? Interesting. I'm gonna entangle him. And I'm also gonna up our dodge, or not our dodge, our accuracy here. I'm gonna entangle him, trying to pull him forward. It at least bleeds him. Plus damage received while bleeding. Monstrous Affliction, just so she can do some extra accuracy and crit here. Then we're gonna Thirst for Power on him, just upping that bleed. He's bleeding for 6. We're gonna move forward by 1, Razor Swiping, bleeding him.
Impressive.
Bleeding for 6. Yeah, that's right. Move back. Plus protection, plus damage. Now I can Crimson Downpour you. He's bleeding. He got the debuff for plus bleed amount. This is bleed 4 for 3. This. Okay, we're gonna Whiplash him. 15 bleed. This would be a 3 for 3 bleed. I can hit him for 24 if I go for the throat. Otherwise, I hit him for 5 and do a bleed that gets more damage on him. Let's go for the throat. Just do that lovely damage on him. And then, Open Vein. I was really hoping that would hit. Okay, we got the riposte at least here. Oh, that hurt.
Blurred vision.
That really hurt.
The end approaches.
Thirst for Power. Bleeding for 13. Whiplash. Bleeding for 4. Hey buddy, bye-bye. Okay, that was fun. And now that I know I can lure him out with blood, I think I can get more Crimson Court trinkets. Yeah, Bulwark of the Third Crusade for the Judicator, plus healing received, plus guard duration, on being hit, plus protection. Minus dodge, but transformed. Transcended, plus debuff chance, plus accuracy for the set. Okay. Battle room with Kirio next. I gotta heal. That gives me 2 food checks to get here, do the battle, see if I get a key. Probably not gonna get a key from this. Crimson Downpour these guys, bleeding them. Okay, Maggot goes down. Manservant's already down. Open Vein on Sycophant. He's down, and then our Cursed can take out the Maggot. Taking what we can.
As victories mount, so
I'm gonna trade out the torches here. Actually, no, the shovel. The portrait. Giving the blood to the guy here, which didn't give me anything I wanted.
are often low on supplies.
So we're just gonna leave those. We're gonna go down to the Curio. Forlorn can do the trap. Getting some stress down. That's nothing, so I'm gonna go back to the secret door. And at least get some treasure out of it. Was not expecting the crocodile. Like, yes, I was. I should. Oh yeah, that's right. That was there. I should rephrase it. I was expecting the Crocodillian like the first time I encountered that, and I was expecting the Crocodillian if I didn't use anything on that little brush.
Confusion.
I don't know what I was expecting using the blood. I was just kind of being stupid there. I will admit that. I was just being stupid. Not knowing what to expect. But I wasn't expecting the Crocodillian when I used the blood, and that threw me for a loop. It was a situation of, I don't know what I was expecting, but I was not expecting the Crocodillian stupidly. And shite, I did not want that to happen. At least we got courageous. That helps, but I did not want the Crimson Curse. I know we can cure it, like in a dozen different ways. I still didn't want it. Runic Cube is actually
that overconfidence is a slow and insidious
decent for the Ironclad. I'll give it that. Taking what I can here. Got 8 more crafts, so I mean 24, 32. And then Secret Room. Not that I can, you know, use anything on it, but we can at least get the money, right? And then that's quest complete with, like, everything. Got me the Cursed Incense. Got a few... I mean, it's not much gold. It's like 6,600. But a lot of heirlooms. And we got some trinkets. Some really good trinkets at that. So... I mean, I'm happy with that run, especially because it levels people up and the area up. And we got Crimson Court Trinkets. Scotland hit level 3 with Tranquil Mind, so that's plus 5 accuracy, minus 10% stress received.
An eternity of futile.
I can then actually just go and throw him into the transept. I want to make sure I have... I'm almost certain I have an Aesthetus, but yeah, okay. And now, Eroded Guardian is available. Yay! I'm kind of tempted to go fight it. So that's the first of 2 bosses, I think, in here. The second is a different Crocodillian. How stupid do I want to be? I love when I ask that question to myself, and the answer is always very stupid. Very, very stupid. So I'm going to spend some time building a party to go fight the Eroded Guardian. This should be Chose, if I remember correctly. Gonna double check that this is Chose. Otherwise, this is going to be a very boring fight coming up. I'm going to admit that. Yeah, it is Chose Guardian. So this is going to be slightly different from the base Guardian for those of you who don't know what this is. So it will be not as much of a slog of a fight. It is slightly different, making it work a little bit differently and kind of more thematically. And I like the fight a lot more. So that's what we will be doing next time. I'm going to build what I can to do a group that does damage versus stonework, because I have some heroes that have trinkets that help with that, and I know I have the stoneworker's tools or whatever that one is, so they will do a lot more damage versus him. And we'll go and blast the eroded one to dust and do what we can, and then continue going into the courtyard to see if we can't find the Crocodillian, because I believe, I don't remember getting this far into past the Eroded Guardian in Courtyard Plus, so I believe there is a second apprentice boss that is a Crocodillian. I could be wrong there, but that's going to be the goal, is continue leveling that up, see how bad that is, see if that's something I want to continue doing in the future, and continue leveling people up, and stock up on some other stuff and get some Crimson Courtyard trinkets. So that'll be it for this time. Like, comment, subscribe, all that YouTube jazz, and otherwise, as always, I wish you all well. I'll see you next time, and please, have a good one.